What's happening, everyone? It's Kyle from Magpie 24/7. I hope you're all good. Thought I'd do a quick review after that shower of shit that was Aston Villa 2, Newcastle United 0, and it feels similar. This video, it feels similar to a nighttime game I went to a couple of years ago. It was around November. The date's different, mind, but the difference was it was a nighttime game. Other than that, the scoreline was Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 0. We had one shot on target and we looked very lethargic, slow, devoid of ideas, and Villa just bossed win the midfield and decided to take the piss out for an evening. And that kind of sums it up. But we're 2 years on and we're at the start of a third season under Steve Bruce. I think it was Steve Bruce's first season when that happened, which just shows you exactly how far Steve Bruce has taken Newcastle United, which basically he's kept winning exactly the same fucking place that he has since he came. And we've had money, so we've invested money over the time he's been here to stand still, and this is fairly documented where Steve Bruce is concerned in these jobs. It's literally a case of Steve Bruce could keep you in the same place if he does a good job in his head, like he did with Hull, like he did with Sheffield Wednesday before he left them for us. If Steve Bruce is doing a good job in his own head or in the pundits' head that support him every week, he will keep you in the same place despite investment, despite attempts to take the club forward from a financial point of view, which I think Bruce has been backed more than any other manager in the Ashley tenure, so that should tell you all you need to know. But for us to be standing still, if not going backwards, or making zero to little to no progression at all in such a vast amount of time, and he keeps saying we're not going to have it worked out straight away, mate. You've had flipping 78 bastard games in charge, and we still don't have an identity, and we still don't have an idea of what style of football we are trying to play. Like I don't know if any of you have seen the BBC Talk Sport interview that he did. No, the BBC Radio Newcastle interview they did where fan questions were selected, and I'll use the term selected very loosely because I feel he got an easy ride off BBC Radio Newcastle, if I'm honest. And in this, he was saying, Graham Jones did the attacking side and I did the defensive side. Well, Steve, I think you should leave everything to Graham Jones because in 2 games while you've been working on the defensive side, we've conceded 6 goals to mid-table teams and we've looked shit. And you've used 5 different centre-backs in that time, and we've been linked with Carter Vickers and we've been linked with Phil Jones, who, in my opinion, will not improve the 3 or the 5 centre-backs that we currently have. So that tells you all you need to know about how useful Steve Bruce is, considering defensively we look absolutely shambolic. And talking to things repeating themselves under Steve Bruce. Do you just remember when we played Aston Villa last season? We conceded a very similar goal where all 11 Newcastle players were in the 18-yard box, yet Danny Ings had the freedom of Birmingham to. It was a great goal, don't get us wrong, but he had the freedom of Birmingham to do it. And this is without even going into the main stretches of the game. I just feel like we got bossed from minute 1 to minute 90 again. And how many times have we said that under Steve Bruce, where we don't take control of a game, we don't boss a game, we don't have any idea in a game. We just kind of hide out under the field, and it's kind of, if it works, it works, isn't it? And there's just nothing. It's just a dead football club. It really is, and I don't want to get too over the top because we're 2 games in, but we're currently 19th, and our goal difference is absolutely fucking shit. And we'll play Southampton next week, and it already feels like a must-win game. 3 games into the season, a must-win game, really. And then after that, we've got Man United away, so free scoring Man United at the minute. It's not going to be an easy game. In fact, I see it being a flipping a battering, which would make goal difference much worse. But it's just dropping in for another season of this shit, because we've had 2 full seasons of it under Bruce where there's just nothing, and it's just like it's dead, and we're kind of just going from season to season to season, hoping for an arbitration case to go our way, or hoping for a takeover. We're just in limbo. So yeah, I just want to, for my last point of the video, because I don't really want to cover much of the game. There's no point, because it's the same Bruce shit, the same problems that me and Paul probably talk about on every single fucking podcast that we've got. The same problems defensively, the same problems in midfield, and the same problems up front, the same problems across the board, the same problems with the investment. It's been the same now since we got promoted. Like, how much of that team got promoted to the Premier League? You know what I mean? We're a dead football club at the minute, and there's just no hope. We're just kind of dragging along and hoping for a takeover. That's the only hope we got right now. If a takeover falls through, we're knackered. We're gone. Barring an odd performance from Maxi, or an odd performance from Wilson or something like that, we've got nothing to look forward to as Newcastle fans, man. It's so depressing. It's just shit. It really is. But for my last point of this video, I just wanted to tribute and thank the Premier League. I really do. From the bottom of my heart, I really want to thank the Premier League for protecting Newcastle United at this time, protecting us from them evil Saudi people who would have invested millions upon millions into the city, the club, the fan base, and the team, and the training facilities. Thank you so much for protecting us from that Premier League, because we're doing so good now with Mike Ashley. We're doing so good with Lee Charnley in charge, and we're doing ever so great with Steve Bruce in charge. So thanks, Premier League. That's the last point I wanted to make. But on a bit of a serious note, Magpie 24/7 wise, because that's all I've got to say on the pilot ship today. There's been a couple of things going on, and I just want to clear it up, because at the end of the day, I feel like you're owed that. Like, the people that listen and watch our podcast and stuff on a weekly basis, I appreciate all yous that do. And basically, the first podcast of the season just wasn't a thing. It didn't happen. And usually the first game of the season, that's a pretty big one to cover, and I can only apologise that's happened. Basically, I had a death in the family, not Friday, but Friday last, and it was my stepdad. So it was a massive thing in the family. It's been a shit couple of weeks, to be honest. But yeah, that weekend I went to the game and stuff, but I just didn't feel right. Especially after West Ham kind of pumped me 4-2, and I wanted Newcastle to win for my stepdad, because he supported Newcastle. He was an avid Newcastle fan. We still laugh about how shit Steve Bruce was all the time, by the way. But like, yeah, just wanted to end the video on tributing him, because he was a huge Newcastle supporter, and he was really, I was really close to him as well. So it was just a little tribute for him. And yeah, rest in peace, Martin, mate. And aye, it's just something to end the video on, because that's why the podcast wasn't there last week, and I don't want you to feel like we're slacking as a podcast. Just, I've had loads of shit going on, and yeah, so it's just been a couple of things. The Facebook page and stuff like that hasn't changed. There's been a couple other things as well, like a couple of videos where I haven't been in, or a podcast where Paul did a review. So many thanks to Paul doing a lot of posts, and covering the podcast in the form of a review as well. So many thanks to him covering the Magpie 24/7 stuff, because yeah, I've been slacking, but I've been slacking because obviously I've had a death in the family and stuff. So it's just apologies for that, and normal service will be resumed, and I hope you can understand. But I know you will, so it's much appreciated. But I love yous and leaves for now, and hopefully it's not same shit, different season. But I very much fear it will be. But I catch you in a bit, everyone. See you later. Ta-da.